So I will start with you, Jeremy, because I'm sure that you're supporting Herschel Walker in this race. Why is he what you want for your party in the U.S. Senate?
Yeah. Well, it's great to be on with you, Chris. I appreciate it. And look, the reason why I'm supporting Herschel is because, first off, I know that he is the only candidate in this race who is authentic. The man cares about Georgia. He cares about our country. And I spent personal time with him. He's a friend of mine. And I can tell you that when you talk to him, he doesn't give you the DC establishment talk. He doesn't give you what the coastal elites want to hear. He's not there to get some sound bites for the news media. What he's all about is talking to voters and listening. And that, to me, is what I want the future of our party to be about. I want us to be the party that listens to voters, that doesn't think that we have all the answers, that we're going to come with the one-stop shop solution for all the woes, but actually that we listen because we believe Georgians know what's best for our state. And Herschel totally understands that, and that's been his entire approach to this election. And I think that's what's ultimately going to have him win this race on Tuesday.
Stephanie, why is Herschel Walker not your future?
Good to have you, or good to see you. Thank you so much. And Jeremy, I want to start off by saying thank you so much for your service to our country. Look, if Herschel Walker has been listening to the people of Georgia, you can't tell from what he's saying. He has not offered any kind of solutions, whether it's economic policy or healthcare. In fact, the one thing I've seen that he wants to do is have additional funding for the military, which I support. Other than that, he's nonsensical. And I think that with the midterms, people showed that they want policies, they want solutions, and they want people who will work in Congress for them. I think people are tired of drama. They're tired of Trump sycophants. And that's why I think Mr. Warnock is definitely the solution, even as a Republican.
Well, as a Republican, though, Stephanie, quick bounce to you before I go back to Jeremy. The idea that better than a Democrat, why isn't that sufficient for you?
You know, to me right now, it's about country over party. And so if that makes me a bad Republican, I will take it. I want somebody who will go to the Hill and go to Congress and work together and have solutions and not just take marching orders from the likes of Trump or, heaven forbid, Kevin McCarthy.
Jeremy, one of the reasons that I've been following your career, of course, your service to the country matters, but, not all guys who serve the country should be serving in Congress. You're smart. You've taken the time to study. Positions, people can judge your positions. Those things cannot be said about Herschel Walker. This is not a man who's a student of the game, who understands what the Senate does or how it does it. Shouldn't there be a level of expertise to put somebody in the ultimate deliberative body of government in the world?
Well, first, let me just say this. I mean, the idea that Herschel has not come to the table with any substantive policy positions, that's just entirely untrue. If you listen to what he's been talking about, he's been very clear. He's been on message about it. We want to secure the border. Raphael Warnock has made it clear he does not. The Democrat Party believes in a border, or doesn't believe in a border at all. And that matters to a lot of people in Georgia that are overdosing, kids literally overdosing on fentanyl by the million. I mean, it is a serious issue, and a lot of people care about that. We care about crime. Herschel talks a lot about crime, and he talks about restoring that trust between citizens and law enforcement. That's got to be key. I mean, if you look at and I just saw a report today, the clearance rate, that is the rate at which police are able to actually find the people who are committing these terrible crimes and murdering people, is at an all-time low. And that's a lot of black victims that are not getting justice. And a lot of black families are not getting justice and are being terrorized by crime. And what has Warnock done? Well, he's called the police thugs, right? So, I mean, he's not the person that's going to restore any trust at that level. We can go down to oil and look at the energy production. Our gas prices are astronomical. Herschel's been very clear. We need to make ourselves energy independent here in the United States and stop going to dictators in the foreign countries to ask for oil. So it's just basic things that Herschel's been right on target talking about these issues. And we can look at Warnock. If you want to call Warnock the expert, I don't think we need or want his expertise in Georgia, because we've seen that it's left us as an economy that is crippling families. I've got a 3-year-old daughter. We just bought groceries today, and the bill is astronomical. It's ridiculous. So our economy is out of control. Gas prices are out of control. We have all this racial animosity, dividing people based on the color of our skin. That's what the Democrat Party, that's what Raphael Warnock does. He's voted with Joe Biden 96% of the time. And I think people are sick of that. We want someone who actually represents our Georgia values, and that's Herschel Walker.
Jeremy,
Can I just
quick bounce
Chris,
to you, and then I'll end. Oh, no, go ahead, Stephanie. Please, jump in.
I'm so sorry. I just want to say, look, yes, those were great Republican talking points. I know, because I say them all of the time. I've heard him say the talking points, but really what mostly I've seen him do is sit next to Lindsey Graham or Ted Cruz lately and have them speak for him.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.